first well if you are telling me?
Oh, tell me. Oh my God.
keme mo tannim fula ka be tora tubabol damala ko kamala ko kana nyanyandi sek fati ni ko musomanta sunnoto jeno wala ka wara musol tata manta sunnoto keba yata ikadindingol kumandi fankam nabe dala nun Gambia dingole mu ala diamo afele nay mobile kono mus keba ya kumanda fankan Gambia muso aya kumanda na tulunta ay kodo diala na datan sa bondi jang ya kalamuta se kabiro felembe na kallu menna last Monday Gambia dingo be spena kay muso ni France banko kan Gambia dingole mo fanati amanta sunnoto na bitaje faka tara dewri mona tan no mabundum masane akonye ka fututa mantambi sunkaro kono ala musomanta sunnoto imam akonye ko mfiti tabulu fon lafta konna taburunga bula ustaz Abdallah Sise beje woni nyol Abu Bilal nyol mo jama ya sedeya fonga yama ajube nakafnyo ma do be nyin difte bun ko non ta to fola bayri be ka hani akonye ka kafnyo ma do be je kewole mati akavai ko ninsu wakuta fonkijo kanfa fente ala muso sembo waratati waral nyala illa fta tolbe kala tulun nalati to nyalo nina tayiro fojube tubabudu nimmo manta e nimmo e dingo sodo memman ke halala dingo tab ka place bamara
so ustaz mo lafta mininka bayro albel lorin kan kurkaje ko ni ay repeat bi ngajele ko National Assembly lota kanyim bilo ni ka bay so atol albel mun step le tala kurkaje ko mol min lafta ka practice ya ko
non tol man sembe soto nga ala le dani jalla wa ala banin diptawli ya lon ko abela buko ko no luwalem men tambite tolula dipte bula ya samba je ngo dani yenne ya samba nin atara no stano Supreme Court ni luwasi tano je amam fajang adate ne ya samba je barum tolbe nga memara wala mukaduwa ke alaye kitin ni moltema Hajjaj bin Yusuf yala ki sakaran muslim wala mati sojar wala mata mo jamafa alaju babina fala keta nyaadile wotombe danila ni man tubi alkhan jalla wa ala alama alayhi wasila kuwato mbafula Allahumma kfinihim bima shid innaka antal azizul hakim na fome yalo ko mundalla dinoti sunno lo mo dinoti mem meta tamala janni tolbe wurule to lena nan jan kafo mole ko way buruka o kanake say mune mu daliloti pour ay ha munon daliloti ko dalilo men kama ngawo fana moyba ila dalilo momenti ko molka infection no le soto molka sasa le soto musol ni wurute kata ni tata ni lafta ka wuri ka pale wo bemudu wuliyata manke tonati manso ala sama because he man report nati katandi molla ko men fata ni muso imam muso tandi ndolla muso me yalo ko bafla wala mo me yalo ko bafla ko afela data tan lebole afata jele wala diwa mantoro ko soto wala mantoro ko soto result al fele biringa dindi ay nyaka to tamen ke wala nyinke say atol musol albe mun kala pour kaje ko Allah nyanto ay ba violate kan na janto pour ka tandi ko kon na nyanto ba violate kan me protest lale which is number 1 and number 2 we are telling them that there is no going back. We will continue with our female circumcision. Ni lafita inshallah ni lafita yembe sika yesa maltu yesa warandi ya maltu sasa warandi because monte kunna ni blande badamanja momondi lafta do samara ya samba hani mo kini ni ya muta Gambia musulma musolbe wulla la ngebampu oto ya maltu ya fanu ndikatu jimbe bijado yata assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh ndasundi mayampu mo sote ni ngeda mayampu atala motora atala ni ko sementuya kwani ara mbaro ka diamule ara mbaro ka le ko ni ko mesu wala le pour aytu lo kono mole ni wala wulu na toboto famenta birini ni operation ni sunota be kering fo operation bo ke ban mo jelle fata oto ndana melo
mole yo operate meme lo jam how many times me operate la ni mo ko me juma ba lon na wayat na operation ko dafa wayat na operation mambo every day han sangal bo yopta mo tale ba operate ka mo ka faje muso ka wo fa ko ya ka fa muso ka wo fa ko ya ka fa ko muso operate ka fa suna ta na mo fa wotale wato man si momo ala ya wato ka dula to momo ala ya wato ka dula to ya wato bo dole falale mbe libito dari le men yake ala subhanahu wa jalla men ya dino le la ya moni bul muso bul nga firin to batatale
say biloni ya fay bantale so ya albe mo nekela
ya fay bantale mambala wala mambulo oto bari ala ya kuloje da sunnim bi jalin tri boyo nin jankoro da sunnim bi kelal bi wulu ya fay bandala baram dal musol kon diwul na ñewulu anni mamaron mbe sabale man lay yembula ngake men la fitay yake men mala fi yatuje wala yem muso be soro wala yem fa bar mba kelal
andu salam dama loi tongo mimmi je asake ko sain wo tongo ni ko sain abe norin jele ite ko alba kelal nal yake wo meme loi may aliso yalla dole demena nde loi tara jom ba mo jol ma ni dole demena ni bi ne mo ki rasi ma ki mo kilimuta ne ngasi ma kilimuta ban ko muso be findi yetan be soro na jele ko ngasi mba dol bije won fi ala ko findi dal iko ko tol ni ya bulale ka to man to ko le bije
nde mo ngasi mba bar mo abule bi mabule sa nde mo ngasi bar mo abule bi mabule sa nde mo ngasi bar faji ko ngasi bar mo abule bi mabule sa manje ko ya duje me du le fe yake me mo le fe watuje kabin bi ma si mo be kere nyimba ko kana me bukaki ni ka fudu nyoy ne ni ka balu nyoy ni ka ta nyoy sawut mammo kuya sai mo ba tan dal le dal be nyanto sisila mba kere bi mba ta so ndo ngase man hal sama ni me adi so ma yamba sunna
well you could see the reactions out there
Siremba Simani. Yidal mesalla kilama sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maksalla kilama sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ndefa ni biya min benade. Ani ko ya sembo warta ba keme musolla nyanto madina. Anu ni ko donga jere kon tabula le binta abdala soma. Ko ku bije do binta ko male. Ko ku bije binta ko male inshallah. Okay. Ba pare de wala le. Saya balu wolo. Because kila time wa sallallahu alaihi wasallam ma simba bije min to mu ummu hatiya ka fa ummu hatiya ko mu woldi o ta mo nakara man be dia o ba fole ya bula bare ko kila rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mo ko boy ndi jang wallahi talba boy la bar kila rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam
parliament ya jene ko no la committee la recommendation ko ni nyaka do tani amanke islam ko ti mol le ka wol le yake
amanke to nyaade fan yalo o da amanke to nyaade ni mo kila rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam jamano aketale amandi ya mo aketale so to ngento min to ko dola mano da ko lete da o to boto ye Gambia je no wasiarin ko be siarin gande ko yo to boto ye mo la dino bula ngana dino tamandi dino ya to dawala bulo le dawake ye dawake ha itoli yala to banko ko to boto banko kan ko le am bije itoli yala ne yo to boto ye fata molla ye mol bula ba kala bi nga ke soma ko ko je kunta ko man ha ko ko je kunta ko
I think it's a very wonderful victory for our women and girls, understanding that it's been a very threatening combination of months where we're not sure where the fate of our women and girls are going to be. So this is solely about the protection of women and girls and ensuring that their fundamental human rights are actually withheld. So I want to say bravo to all the survivors of FGM, to all the women and girls, and to everyone that has been in this very important campaign to ensure that the ban on FGM is actually maintained. That being said, it's not enough. The engagements have to continue. The people in our societies have to be very sure of why exactly we need to have this ban actually upheld and why it is also needed for FGM to not be given any room of breath again because of the health complications that it actually has, the fundamental human rights that it violates, and how much it has been such a threat to our women and girls. So it's the responsibility of everyone to ensure that we stand against this nemesis.
We have a lot of young people who are actually in support of the practice, and today Parliament has made their verdict that they say no and upholding the ban. As somebody leading young people in Parliament, what is your take on those people that are in support but also fears that the laws will come to haunt them?
Yeah, so I think the young people are not expected to support FGM, considering the youth are expected to know better when it comes to some of the complications that FGM have. So as someone that lead young people, my communication is always that we should be willing to learn. Most of these young people that are supporting FGM don't have an idea how much damage it can cause to a woman or girl. And if you look at the genesis of the operation of the National Youth Parliament, as part of our key core values, the protection of women and girls, especially against any form of sexual and gender-based violence, under which FGM actually falls. So my advice to them is to be more exploring and try to read as much as possible, do more research on some of the health complications of FGM. They're actually there, and the moment they build their understanding on that, they will be on the right track.
Finally, what's your message to the parliamentarians and for the other Gambians who are disappointed with the verdict today?
I want to say bravo to the parliamentarian. What you have done is definitely what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect women and girls. And to those that are disappointed with the verdict, it's understandable. Sometimes things happen against the way we wanted, but you have to know that this has happened for the right reasons and for the most right reasons. So what I would just advise is to actually uphold and safeguard the fundamental human rights of everyone and ensure that we're able to sit and talk with the people that are most affected. Let us not just sit at our corner and make conclusions that this is not harmful and so on, but you're not able to sit and talk to a survivor. So I advise everyone to actually sit with survivors and listen to their stories, but as well make research on some of these health complications. If that happens, they will not be supporting an act as cruel as FGM. Sorry.
To the ban on FGMC, what is we want to seek your reactions as to the verdict that is given by the parliament today.
I think it's the right decision. I believe that the rights of girls and women in this country has been undervalued for so long, and this is just the beginning. I think we need to, this is a reaffirmation that the conversation on FGM and the rights of women in this country is a non-negotiable. That the rights of women is not secondary and it's not third, and we need to do everything we can to protect women and girls, their right to health, their right to dignity, their right to live to their full potentials, and I think that decision has been reaffirmed today.
So what is your message to those young girls who are disappointed, who are actually in support of the repealing of the ban?
I don't have a message for them. I have a message for the society that these are people we need to engage and have conversations with, educate and hear their why and see how best we can get to a common ground.
Because a lot of us worked so hard to ensure that the bill against FGM is passed. And today I celebrate for Gambian girls. I'm not celebrating for me. I've said this. Once this law is maintained, right? For me, I don't need to work on FGM for me to survive. Ending FGM is not a career for me. This is all I wanted for our country, and I am so happy. I am so elated. So thank you, Gambia. Thank you to our National Assembly members. Thank you to the Joint Committee. And thank you to Sidi Njai for all he has done.
We have a lot of young girls out there who actually might have grudges against you for standing firm against this FGMC. What would be your message to the society and those people who felt like it is a betrayal on their part of it?
I'm Gambian first. We're all Gambian. Our first identity and what unites us is the fact that we are Gambian. So for us now, it's time to work with our communities and reunite people and educate them. This is not the end of our fight. If anyone holds a grudge against me or is mad at me, this is my belief. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm not here to hurt communities. It's just that I believe that we should have laws that are going to protect women and girls against FGM.
Now, aside from the ban alone, effective implementation is one question, and we will have a lot of people who will be doing it secretly, yes, irrespective of the ban. Now, what will be your next step in trying to make sure that the ban is enforced to the latter?
Well, there's a lot of organizations that are working on this issue in the Gambia. I think my next step is working with them and supporting them maybe financially for them to get out in the communities and educate people about the law and also try to unite people, because this has caused a lot of fights and violence among ourselves, which is not necessary. So my goal is to work with not only my organization Safe Hands, but to work with others to ensure that people are educated enough.
Now, education alone would not suffice. Like
I believe in economic.
There is a recommendation from the from the Joint Committee on Health and Gender that the state should try to enforce the laws. And we all understand that enforcement in this country is something that is always questionable and it's always not effective as is expected.
Yes.
What would be your next step on that?
I mean, laws are a preventive mechanism, right? Gambia should definitely work on implementation of the law. Having good laws on paper without implementation doesn't make sense. So our government has a moral obligation to ensure that now that the bill has been maintained, that we ensure that along with implementation, we are also educating people about the law.
2015, the ban was there, and since 2015, we only had 2 cases that were
prosecution.
Now, are we expecting the same trend to continue if effective?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope the police, National Assembly, you know, the Gambian government, everyone works together to ensure that implementation is key. Because without implementation, these are just laws on paper and they're just word and no one cares.
What is your message to the Gambians and those out there?
My message to the Gambians is today we fought for you. Today we stood for the future generations of Gambians. And we ask everyone to join us in knowing that we stood on the right side of history. We are not here to insult our elders or to cause any fitna in Gambian society. My message is this law is a Gambian law and it's here to stay.
In brief, in Mandinka, could you just summarize a little bit of what you just said in brief?
Ya long tela Mandinka kango man seneya, but lafta mim fola mu ole mu nilwa mu Gambian loi na alfalu nata jang pour loi ñing abetula jang ñamen because ni loi mu pour Gambia musolem ni loi mu pour musu ndingol mimbe Gambia lela so mbal be dani la pour al salon mbe mu Gambia no leti ni FGM ko abenala abetala bon tolbe mu Gambia no leti.
Now, knowing fully well that you come from a Sarahule community that actually believe in this practice, what are your foreseen challenges?
I mean, I know that I face a lot of challenges starting in my own community. People will insult me, they will report me to my father, but at the end of the day, like I said, I believe in what I'm doing. This is my destiny to do this work, and I've done all I can. I think now I can sleep. Like I said, I don't have to do this work. And I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm considering whether I want to continue working on FGM or not. And I don't think I want to. I have other things that I want to focus on. One is agriculture. This is what I wanted. Now we still have a law in the Gambia and I think I'm done. I'm ready to retire from activism.
Chairperson for KM and founder of Women and Children Aid the Gambia.
What is your reaction today?
I'm very happy, I'm emotional, it feels really good fighting for a cause that you have people as parliamentarians that are out there supporting us. I really feel good seeing everyone around in solidarity with us. This is not a fight, as I said, it's not a fight for the country or culture or our or religion, but it's a fight to support our young girls. They are innocent. They can't consent to this type of things. So today is a very victorious day. We are so happy, we are so delighted, and we will celebrate this to the core.
Now, as youth leader for the KM, knowing fully well there are some other young girls or young people who are not in support of the repeal of the ban on FGMC, what would be your message to them?
We will just tell them that this, as I said, this was not a fight for religious or something, but as I said, is a fight for our young women. Is a cause that we are fighting to support our young women and girls out there. But as we said, we are not going to relent. Even though the bill is not repealed, we will continue the advocacy. We will continue to educate them. We will continue to have more capacity building training for them to know the risks and the risks that are attached to these practices.
Today is a day to celebrate because as the whole world envies Gambia for having banned this very harmful traditional practice, we wanted to regress. But today, the right thing has been done by the National Assembly members. They have complied with provisions of the Constitution, and human rights provisions of the Constitution, which protect the rights to life, right to be free from violence, right to be free from harmful traditional practices, if anything. Yes.
Implementation of the law is one thing that the Joint Committee actually recommended moving ahead, and we definitely know that there are other people who are not happy with the verdict and has already promised that they are going to continue with the practice. What would be your step or next step or measures that to making sure that the police enforced the law to the law, or the government actually stood to implement the law on the ban?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know what happened in the chambers. You see me rushing, I'm sweating. I was in court, I was stuck there, so I missed the verdict, the decision. But implementation is very important, because otherwise the laws are of no use. It must be a collective effort. Law enforcement, because this is a law that is still in place. It is a criminalized, is a provision that criminalizes the practice. So the law is in place until it's set aside, and thank God it wasn't today. So it must be implemented by law enforcement officers. I think everybody should be vigilant and ensure that just like any other crime, if a person is suspected of having committed it, they should be taken through the law. But I have to say, because of the nature of this practice, it's a very sensitive issue. Some would claim tradition, some would claim religion, their religion. We are in this thing together. There are no two sides or enemies about this. We are here both sides hopefully want to protect the health and well-being of the girl child and women. So it's just about how do we go about it. So we as civil society and people who have been campaigning to eradicate this harmful practice, we recognize the need to engage. Further engagement is all part of the implementation. Further engagement, further awareness raising, because I believe that if anybody knows of the true harmful effects of FGM, you will abandon it. You will not want your own loved ones to go through it, and you certainly will not put them through it. So it's a collective effort. We will continue to engage. I think we dropped the ball before, and we must continue to engage unless and until everybody understands. Let's not stigmatize anybody. It's not about arresting people. If anybody disobeys the law, they should be arrested. But I think those who are yet to be convinced that banning is a good thing should open their minds and their hearts. Let's receive the information that is being given to us. Not only does it have harmful effects, it is inconsistent with the provisions of our Constitution. So I would have been surprised if the National Assembly enacted a law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, and thank God they did not.
The laws, especially the provisions, is one thing that a lot of Gambians do not know. And as a law practitioner, could you tell us a little bit of the part of the provision, because some see to it that it's a violation of their right to religion and right to culture.
Yes,
provided for in the Constitution, 1997 Constitution.
No, the 1997 Constitution is very clear. Section 32 is what you're talking about. It gives anybody the right to practice their religion, culture, tradition, whatever you want to call it. But there's a proviso, on condition, that it does not impinge on the right of others. You see, Constitution is very, very clear. It didn't give it and say you have the right to practice your religion, your culture, full stop. It says you can do so, but on condition that it does not impinge, and impinge means negatively impact another person. And that is exactly what FGM does. So that's why I'm saying that enacting this law would have been in contravention, inconsistent with that provision of the of the Section 32 of the Constitution. I implore people to read it. Read it. You will see there's a proviso there. You can do whatever you like with yourself, your religion. But when it has a negative effect on somebody else, you cannot claim that you are practicing your religion or your culture. So I don't know if that explains. And there are other provisions as well. So I think we just need to listen to one another. Let's not be enemies. We are all out hopefully to do what is best for the girl children. It's just that some people have not quite appreciated the damage that is done to certain children and women.
Finally, what would be your message to those there out Gambians there who felt disappointed with the verdict of the National Assembly?
I urge them to accept it, because we elected the National Assembly members as our representatives to enact laws for us. So whatever they do, we should accept it in good faith, and let us go back to the drawing board. Let us revisit our own positions. That's what I say. I believe in informing. Knowledge is power. Let us revisit our own. Let's not just be stuck dogmatically, oh, this is what I believe, that no matter what. There was a time when female babies were killed when they were born. That was a tradition. But once it was realized that it was a bad one, it was abandoned. So let us cherish the good old traditional African values that we have, that we are so proud of in this country. And let us examine the ones that are harmful. Let us not bury our heads in the sand no matter what. And let us ask ourselves very important questions like, why are we practicing FGM? Never mind you want to do it as your religion, but why are you doing it? What use? Whatever you do, there's a use to it. There's a, what use, what benefit is there? And they will find that there is none. So I do not condemn anybody. I think nobody should condemn anybody. I think we should just engage and engage. And you know, there was a time when we didn't have this big population supporting the ban. But with awareness raising, with sensitization, with engagement, family members, let us open our minds. That is what I say to them. And I say to them to accept it in good faith. And I hope one day they really will understand. I understood the day I watched the practice being performed on the screen. That changed my life. And the desire to protect girl children. You know, when people are old enough and they want to do it for whatever reason, cosmetic, whatever, they can go ahead. But until then, we have a duty to protect our girl children and do what is in their best interest, as provided for by the Children's Act of 2005.
tey li mu fi aussi mooy affaire xalafal jigéen lu war a am la wala lu warta am man ci man d'accord ma ndax dafa indi problème lu bëri ci xale yi dégg na ci jigéen ñi daf leen di sonal boo amee jëkkër daf lay sonal boo amee doom daf la boo bëgg a am doom daf lay sonal loolu dégg naa ko ci ñu ne baaxul lu baaxul nag ñu bokk moo yaakaar naa moo gën comme que baaxul nañ ko jéem a ba ndaxte lu la loree loolu kenn waru ko bàyyi ci réew man loolu ci laa d'accord man ci ñu bàyyi ko daal man moom ci laa d'accord. ñu alamaan la waaw kuñ ci jàpp buñ la alamaanee wala ñu tëj la bu ëllëgee keneen du ko def waaye kuñ ci jàpp ñu maslaa ñu bàyyi bu ëllëgee keneen defaat ko kon du fi mos a jeex man loolu laaj d'accord.
My name is Yadikon Erebo. I'm the chairperson for Tango and I'm the national coordinator for Fawe Gambia.
Okay, we've seen that the National Assembly members have voted to oppose the ban on the female genital mutilation. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't know. There's no word to tell you how happy we are. I can't find a word in the dictionary. We are very happy. We appreciate that they have recognized what we are telling them, what we have been talking about. FGM is not useful for women and it hurts women. And they have upheld the rights of women today. Today is a really landmark day today. They have done a landmark decision today and we really appreciate all of them.
Now that we've seen that a lot of people out there, women out there, and some, let me see, people who are advocating for the law not to be banned. Now that, what steps are you going to take again now that the National Assembly have voted that we should not practice the act? What step are you going to take again?
Well, yes, we know today, we'll celebrate today, we'll jubilate today, but tomorrow we tie our wrappers again and get back on the road. Yes, so civil society, when we started this work, when this bill was introduced, we came up with some strategies. We came up with the short-term strategy that was to get to where we are today. Then we have a mid-term strategy, then we also have a long-term strategy. So part of the strategy is we're going to go talk to the people, we're going to meet the people in the communities, tell them what FGM is, show them, we have started that actually, show them what is FGM, how it hurts the woman, show them, you know, seeing is believing. You know, because when we went out there are a lot of people that have myths and these are not reality. So we show them the reality. Then also we're working with these officers, the police officers, and we're going to work with the judiciary too. It's going to be an all-around thing. We're going to train the judiciary so they'll know how to sentence when cases have happened. We will get the police to know how to handle a case. And then the communities also, when it is done, they will know how to report it. So it's going to be everybody, it's all hands on decks. We have to do this. Our commitment is women and girls, and we're not going to relent no matter what, no matter what. And we are not only talking about FGM, we're talking about women empowerment, we're talking about education for women and girls, development for women and girls, financing for women and girls in politics. So we're talking about all this empowerment of women, so that if we had a lot of women in parliament, this would not have happened. We know that, we recognize that, so we're going to push to make sure we have more women in parliament, we have more women in cabinet. So women are ready. Watch out for us, we are ready.
We've seen that in this FGM case, men in the National Assembly has stood far with you people.
Oh yes, oh yes, yes, yes.
So do you think that those men again will now join force with you people to make sure that more women are in the parliament than men?
Yes, those men are supporting us. We are in this work together. You know, there's no work that you can do alone. And so it's good we have these men by our side supporting us, and we have many other men out there. Some of them haven't come out, but they will all come out. So yes, they will support us. They have been supporting us, and they have committed their support for us.